Hey everybody, it is Friday and it is time for Fri-YAY Par-TAY. I am here today. I apologize so much for skipping out on last week's. Had a sick animal. Unfortunately, animal didn't make it, but we are going to make it so that you pass this test. So if you can see me, if you can hear me, give me a thumbs up or something in the chat so that I know I'm not having a terrible tech day. And I don't know, are y'all having a good Friday? I love doing this with you all. I really, really do. So I hope that it is helpful for you. Let's see, what are we going to do today? Well, I wanted to see if you all wanted to help me. I had ChatGPT create some regular questions and I had ChatGPT create some math questions. And I thought maybe we go over them and see how ChatGPT does. GPT. Oh, good. Perfect. You can hear me. Hi, Dina. Hi, Gwen. I'm glad that you two are here. So, and maybe there'll be some other people that join us. Or, I like to start with, do you have any specific questions? So Dina or Gwen or anybody else out there that ends up joining us, do you have anything specific, or do you want me just to start going over the stuff that ChatGPT came up with? I'm digging ChatGPT to do this, and I can show you all how to do it if you need me to, but yeah. So you let me know, what is it you want to do? Otherwise, I'll start with these questions. And honestly, I have not looked them over. Hey, Caroline. Hello. So I haven't looked them over. It'll be like new to me and new to you, and I don't know. So give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts. Let me know what you think. New questions? Do you have a question? No thoughts? Hey, JJ, you're open to any information I go over. You need help everywhere. You know what? Sometimes I feel like that's my whole life. Sometimes I feel like that is my whole life. You're good with the new questions? All right, so I'm going to go to my iPad then, because I literally just put this, ran it through ChatGPT. So here we go. I don't know if they're good. I don't know if they're bad, y'all. This is a partay. Oh, today I was going to go over trid, respa, and the third. Boom. Let's do that first. Let's do trid, respa, and yes, let's do that. I'm sorry. This is why y'all are here, to remind me. I see y'all. Okay, let's go to my iPad. Oh, boop. See, these are the ones we're going to do, but let's talk about respa, trid, and tilla, right? So let's go to my handy dandy, let's draw it out chart. Okay, so all of this has to do with closing laws. And there's three major ones you need to know. They're going to be tilla, right? Why do I make noises when I draw stuff? I don't know. You got respa. I mean, that's the world's most crooked line ever. Let's try that again. Hey, what's going on? Let's make it here. I guess I'm doing it in blue now. Okay, cool. Whatever. And let's change that to back to black. I really want to love this new Apple Pencil, y'all, but it's just not working for me. And then you got trid. So we know truth tilla stands for Truth in Lending Act. That is what it stands for. Truth in Lending Act. And basically what it says is that lenders must disclose the costs of doing business. right? You got to disclose the cost of borrowing money, right? Are my eyes blue, gray? I don't know what color they are today. They change color. So, but that's what it's all about. Now, we also know that Truth in Lending Act could also be called Regulation Z. It could also be called Regulation Z. And when we talk about Truth in Lending and Regulation Z, one of the biggest things they focus on is advertising slash trigger terms. And basically, it's saying, look, if you are going to be advertising any type of specifics as far as numbers, then you need to give more information. So, for example, if you have an advertisement and they're like, you can own this house with only 1% down and a 2% annual interest rate. What? 1% down, 2% annual interest rate? That sounds amazing. But what it means is now that you gave specific numbers, you got to give more information, like what's the APR and what was the price, the cost of whatever you're looking at. And, what are the fees involved and what's the total number of payments? And, how many years is it for? Like, you have to give all that information, etc. You got to give more information. If you give any specific numbers, you've got to tell the public, okay, what else is it? Oh, so I need to respond to your email. I know. And hey, Elena. Right? So you got to give more information. Right? You can, however, say it is a yes to, you can say the APR and you can say the sales price without triggering. But there you go. Who am I referring to when you need to tell them? Who is you? Sorry, my bad. So the lender must share. The lender must share. So if the lender in the advertising says any of these things, then they've got to also include in the advertisement all of that other information, right? Yep. It's okay, JJ. You are good. You don't have to apologize. So TILA and Regulation Z are basically the same thing. They are basically, Christina, if you go in Regulation Z, TILA, it's going to be considered the same thing, right? And then just so you know, RESPA is also Regulation X. That's another name for RESPA. So Truth in Lending is all about, if I had to say, hey, what's the biggest thing you need to know? It's the trigger terms. Now, along with that, it also says, hey, when somebody goes to, yes, Gwen, just the APR by itself without the sales price, yes. So you could give, I shouldn't say, and you can say this, and this is okay. These two things are good. Okay, unlike that happy face, that looked like it was struggling. Those two things are good. The other thing it says is 3 days after applying for a loan, they have to give you estimates. And when you close, they have to give you an explanation of all the numbers. Right? So that's something it says you have to do. That is it. So what are the trigger terms? It's any of the trigger terms. If you say any specific numbers. So the trigger terms are this. If you say any specific numbers, then you have to tell. So if I have something, let's say there's an ad, and I say there is, a 5% interest rate with only $200 down payment. If I say or write in an ad any of this information, that triggers that there's going to have to be more information. You ever listen to like a uh you ever listen to like a car ad or something like that, where they're like, you can own this car for blah 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 blah, and then the voice comes over and they're like, and they give all that fast talking information? That's this stuff. Because they're required by law. When they told you, you can own this car with 0% down, that is a specific lack of number, but it's a specific, so they got to tell you more information. So if in the ad they said, you can own this house for $550,000, that's not a trigger term. If they say, you can own this house with an APR at 5%, they said APR, no trigger term. If they were to say, you can own this house with a $2,000 down payment, whoa, that's a specific number, and now they've got to give more information. Does that make sense? So somebody let me know if you're good with that. That makes sense? Yes. Right? And again, JJ, you don't have to apologize. So then, yay, good. Good. Perfect. So then you have RESPA. RESPA stands for, let's change colors. Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act, right? Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act. And RESPA guides real estate settlements. Only. TILA is basically any type of loan, right? RESPA is real estate settlements only. And we know that RESPA gives us these rules that we have to follow. And it's the one that I tell you stands for Young Kids Eat Up Boogers, Glue, and Dirt. Young kids eat up boogers, glue, and dirt. So instead of writing all this out, I'm going to go to another piece of paper because I don't feel like writing it all out. But when I say young kids eat up boogers, glue, and dirt, what I'm trying to say is, oh, let me erase this. Boop-a-doo. RESPA requires young kids eat up boogers, glue, and dirt. So what does that mean? If there's a yield spread premium, it needs to be returned to the borrower. Sometimes you may go to a broker versus a real estate banker. And if you go to a broker, they have all sorts of loans from all sorts of companies. If you go to a banker, they only have one company. You're only getting it from that one bank. But when you go to a broker says, a loan broker, a mortgage broker, they say, oh, we work with 5 different companies to try to get you the best rate. Fine. Well, one of those banks may be like, hey, we'll give this person a loan at 5%. But if you get them to take 5.5%, Mr. Loan Officer or Mrs. Loan Officer, we'll give you some extra money. What? So then the loan officer would be like, oh, the best I could do was 5.5%, and they walk away with a bonus. That is what we call BS. So now the rules say, hey, if this yield spread premium, this bonus comes in, it's got to be returned to the borrower. It's got to go back to the borrower, right? The K stands for kickbacks. There's no kickbacks. You cannot get paid. There's no money for the referral of business. I know my handwriting's awful. It doesn't, we have an exclusion for agent to agent. But if you are a real estate agent and somebody comes to you and says, hey, I'm a home inspector, and every time you send somebody to use my services, I'll give you $75. Absolutely not. That is a kickback. They're trying to get you to go to jail. That is a no, 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 no. So escrow account restrictions. Well, y'all know when you pay your loan, you pay PITI. And the T and the I are taxes and insurance. You know, they take these monthly amounts and they put them into a escrow account or a reserve account, whatever you want to call it. Then when the bill is due, they pay it. Well, there's limits. If your taxes, let's say your taxes are $7,000 a year, they cannot force you to put in, $17,000 and be like, yeah, just in case they go up. No, there's a restriction on how much they can ask you to put in that escrow account. That's what escrow account restrictions means. A uniform closing statement means if it's a closing and it relates to RESPA, well, then you've got to use the same paperwork. So even though I've spent my entire career in doing business in North Carolina, if I have a closing in Michigan and there's a loan, we're going to use the same paperwork. That is going to be, it used to be called the HUD 1, but now we call it the CD. Right? There's a booklet from HUD called Know Before You Owe. It's written by HUD and lenders are required to give it to people. A good faith estimate is, after applying for the loan, they have to give an estimate. And loan servicing means, hey, if they use a third party to collect payments, think about it. Banks are in the process of making loans. They don't want to have to hound you for payments. They might use a third-party company to collect your payments. And if so, they just need to disclose that to you. So young kids eat up boogers, glue, and dirt stands for yield spread premiums have to be returned. There's no kickbacks. There's escrow account restrictions. You got to have a uniform closing statement. There's the booklet from HUD. There's a good faith estimate that has to be given, and they have to disclose loan servicing. So when we look at it here, that's what all this means. That's what we just did. This young kids eat up boogers, glue, and dirt. Right? And then you have TRID. And if I need to explain something again, y'all just let me know. I don't mind slowing down. Let's do a dark blue, like this color. TRID stands for TILA, RESPA, Integrated Disclosure. TRID stands for Truth in Lending, RESPA, Integrated Disclosure, and it is part of the Dodd-Frank Act. Now, just as a side note, the Dodd-Frank Act created the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, Finance Protection Bureau. I don't know if it's even running right now, but it created the CFPB. And basically what TRID said is, hey, look, when you're in TILA, you have to give 3 days after applying for a loan. You got to give an estimate. And what do you know, when you're in RESPA, you have to give an estimate. It requires an estimate after application. So instead of having paperwork A and paperwork B, why don't we have one document called AB that satisfies the requirements for both? Because this thing could have been 4 pages, and this one could have been 5 pages, and now you had 9 pages of paperwork. Instead, they're like, why don't we just have this thing that's 5 pages? So they're trying to make it less complicated. They're like, let's take the requirements of RESPA and TILA and make one document. One document that covers the needs of both. So that would be called the loan estimate. And it has to be given 3 days after applying for the loan. We used one document to cover both. So yes, JJ, TRID is a combo of TILA and RESPA. It is what creates, it's an integrated disclosure. So we're using one document to disclose the needs of both RESPA and TILA. And we also remember that when you close, you had to have an explanation of costs. And we know that RESPA said, hey, there has to be a uniform closing statement. So they said, you know what we should do? Let's call this C. Let's call this D. Let's have one document called the CD, which is actually what it's called, which stands for closing disclosure. So the two documents are the closing disclosure and the loan estimate. And yes, I realize I said those backwards, but whichever. This has to be given, the estimate, 3 days after applying, and this has to be given 3 days before closing. Whew. So then these days, do we only have the closing law TRID? Nope, they both all still exist. TILA still exists. You still have all these trigger terms and all that information. RESPA still exists. You still have everything that goes on in Young Kids Eat Up Boogers, Glue, and Dirt. And on top of that, we have TRID that allows us to combine paperwork. All 3 exist. Can we screenshot this as a whole page? We can try. Let's see. You know. There you go. Go ahead and screenshot. You'll have to blow it up when you do it. But there you go, Miss Dina. And I can go back to that RESPA, Young Kids Eat Up Boogers, Glue, and Dirt for you in a second. So hopefully 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That makes me think of the intro to iCarly. I used to love that show. So let me go back to this is your Young Kids Eat Up Boogers, Glue, and Dirt. There you go. If you need that. And that's why I said in the webinar, the daily webinar, I was like, I don't necessarily want to go into the details of this because it takes a second. It takes a moment. So any questions about RESPA, TRID, and, what am I missing? RESPA, TRID, and Truth in Lending. Anything I need to answer for you? Will there ever be a case where RESPA is not in TRID? Nope, because TRID, the sole purpose of TRID, let me go back here. The purpose of TRID is to have this combined paperwork. So if there's no RESPA, all you would need is just the TILA stuff, right? So there you go. To do. It's okay. It's okay. No worries. No worries. To do. Are we ready to do some questions, or does anybody else for the same state? These are all federal laws. These are all federal, Dina. So the paperwork that you would use, this closing disclosure and this loan estimate and that 3 days and everything, all of this is federal. It applies to every state that, where you've got a loan where TRID or RESPA or TILA applies. It's all states. What happens if none of these laws are not complied with? Does that even happen these days? Well, funny story, that's what the CFPB is about. The CFPB stands for the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, however you spell bureau. And that's the job. Their job is to oversee the loans. They are looking at, hey, what are these lenders doing? That's their job. They oversee, they provide oversight. They also provide a little cross-eyedness. I mean, my guy is a little cross-eyed there, but that's okay. And there are tons of fines, big money fines for banks. And there's some other things that it talks about detail-wise, but I want you to first get this stuff down, and then we can go into details. Sabrina, you passed your exam. What? You got to get the... And you get the...
Good job, good job. Good job, good job. G-double-O-D-J-O-B. Good job, good job.
I love it. And...
My money don't jiggle, jiggle. It folds. I like to see you wiggle, wiggle. For sure.
We love that for you. Another one bites the dust. Oh, actually, you didn't bite the dust. You passed the test. Boom, boom, boom. Another one passed the test. Hey, we love that. Congratulations, Sabrina. And I had some other people pass this week. Sometimes y'all come in and you give me, during the webinar, the good news. And sometimes you all email me, and it just makes me so happy. I love it. I love it a lot. Yay. Oh, Sabrina, you are so very welcome. You are very welcome. So, any other questions on TRID? I know that was a lot. Yours is Thursday and you're stressing. So you got this. You got this, sir. I know you do. I know you do. So that was our TILA, RESPA, TRID review. And I just want to make sure anybody else have a question about this before we go over the new ones. And you said, give us any tricks. Hey, Sabrina, if you had a trick, something that helped you pass, that would be good. And then you said, JJ, how would a question come up on the exam? They could ask you any of this. So they could ask you, what does TRID stand for? They could ask you, what does RESPA represent? Like, what does RESPA say you have to do? It could ask you, give you an ad, and it could say these things, and you have to identify which ones are the trigger terms. Oh my gosh, they could ask you this in all sorts of ways. They could ask you, what is RESPA also known as, or what is TILA also known as, or any of these. Elena, yours is tomorrow. You don't know what to study? You know what? You're going to go to my 5-hour video. I know you've watched it before, but you just want to go over the main topics. Your test is tomorrow. You're going to breathe. In fact, for this, I'm going to come back here. Your test is tomorrow. First thing I want you to do, Elena, is breathe. It's not life or death. I know it feels like it, but it's not. You got this. And even if you don't got this, you're just going to keep going. So it's not the end all be all. Trust yourself. I see you answering these questions correctly. If it helps to make you think of like me reading the questions in your mind, or what would Candace say, or what would Candace ask, do that. But you got this. And you got all of us supporting you, so you can feel our good vibes. So, Elena, I have faith in you, and I'm supporting you no matter what goes on. Could I drop the link of my 5-hour video here? Yes, let me see. How can I do that? Hold on. Oh, I know how I can do it. Sorry, I had to think about it. I saved it somewhere. 5-hour video. Copy. And now let's paste it. And I think this is it. All right. I love it. All right, guys. So are you ready to do some questions? Remember, well, some of y'all weren't here when I started. I literally today had ChatGPT come up with some questions. I haven't even looked them over yet. And I thought, you know what would be good? If I did them with you all so you could see how I go through questions. If you've done the question breakdown with me and Chris, kind of like talking about that. So let's see how ChatGPT did. I did math questions and I did regular questions. So let's start with the regular questions. I mean, I did 50 of each, so we're not going over all of them. But you tell me what you think. So here we go. New screen. Boop. And let's go here. Literally brand new, unveiling just for you. There we go. And I have an answer key. It's just the answers aren't on here so that we can't see it. All right. During a land contract, number 1, during a land contract or contract for deed, who holds legal title until full payment? A, the buyer, B, the seller, C, the trustee, D, the lender. Who holds legal title until full payment? All right, Caroline says B, the seller. Dina says B, the seller. Anybody else? B, I think Chris also said B. All right, so yes, we're going to go with the answer of B, and B is the right answer. Now, here's the thing. Again, remember guys, I haven't seen this before. I would totally not have given that as an answer choice. Because remember, in a contract for deed, the seller is, that's seller financing. So in theory, they kind of are the lender. I mean, they're the financing it. They're not giving a check, but I think the seller could be considered like the lender. You're not going to the bank to get a loan and then paying it off. The seller is letting you pay it off slowly. So what I would do is I wouldn't have put in that answer choice. I would say if I was doing these questions and making it up, I might put in here the mortgagor. And we know the mortgagor is the borrower, so that would make that answer wrong. But this is how we go through and think about it. Like I would go, oh, well, I know it's not the buyer. I know it's not the trustee. And I know the borrower and the buyer are the same person, so that can't be the answer. All right? Yep, Dina. And sometimes people use the word when it's seller financing, carry back. Exactly. All right, not too bad, ChatGPT. Not too bad. Let's see. Guys, guess what? ChatGPT is free. I'll take it. It's not a terrible question for free. Let's try up number 2. Marcia holds property to her nephew for life, then to her granddaughter. What type of interest does the granddaughter hold? Let's see. I don't know, ChatGPT. What are you trying to say? Marcia holds property to her nephew for life and then to her granddaughter. So I think we didn't want the word hold. I think we want to say gives. I think we want to say Martha gives property to her nephew for his life and then to the granddaughter. So I would say Marcia gives this property to her nephew for his life and then to her granddaughter. What type of interest does the granddaughter hold? Would it be remainder interest? Would it be a life estate pour attrivi? Would it be a fee simple absolute? Or would it be a leasehold? All right, we got A's, we got A's, we got A's. Again, now I agree with you all. I think the answer is A. I think the answer is A, but here's my question. Why isn't the answer C? And here's why. We don't know what kind of title Marcia had. So it started with Marcia. Marcia gave it to the nephew. And then when he dies, that property goes to the G-daughter, the granddaughter. So if Marcia had fee simple title, then eventually the granddaughter would have fee simple title. But if Marcia had a defeasible title, then the granddaughter would end up with defeasible title. So this one is tricky. Yes, I know you all know that's the remainder interest, but it's not fee simple absolute. It's not the better answer choice because we don't know what Marcia started with. Does that make sense? Yep, and it couldn't be pour atrevi. It's not pour atrevi because it's for his life. It's for his life. It's the nephew is the life tenant. The new owner, that's not how you spell owner. So it's for his life. It's a regular life estate. But if Marcia said, hey, you can have this property for Billy's life, then it would be a pour atrevi. Right? There we go. Not too bad, ChatGPT. Not too bad. And just as a reminder, what does leasehold mean? What is a leasehold? What does that mean? Might as well get our vocab words in here. What is leasehold? A non-freehold estate, a less than freehold estate. You all are geniuses. Absolutely love it. Yay. Okay, let's move on to number 3. A property owner grants full ownership without restrictions. What type of estate is this? And I think it should say, what type of estate is this? Fee simple conditional, life estate, fee simple absolute, or a fee tail? What say you? All right, Caroline says C. Dina says C. Celso says C. C is for cookie. That's good enough for me. Let's let the original sing it.
C is for cookie. That's good enough for me.
All right. Are we all going? So far, this is the easiest one. Yes. Yes, our answer is C. Fee simple absolute. Now, just for the record, I told them to give me medium difficulty. So let's see, what ChatGPT thinks is medium difficulty. And maybe for another lesson, I'll tell it to give me hard difficulty and see what it comes up with. So we're all good with all of these answer choices. We know why it's not fee simple conditional. We know why it's not a life estate. We know why it's not a fee tail estate. We're good with all those, hopefully. All right. All right. Oh, it split a page. Here we go. Alice and Bob each own half of a property. Bob dies. His share passes to Alice automatically. How were they holding title? Alice and Bob each own half a property. Bob dies. His share passes to Alice automatically. How were they holding title? And you want me to come back to fee tail? I will. I'll come back to fee tail. We don't have it here in America, but it is real. All right. We got a B, joint tenancy with the right of survivorship. All right. We got B, we got B, we got B. Okay, so you say C. All right. It is the right of survivorship, so we're saying B. Anybody else? B, but you always get these confused. All right, so let's talk about it. We know tenancy in common can't have. There's no right of survivorship. So it can't be that. But guys, this is why question writing is so hard. This is why I tell y'all, give some grace. If there's like a bad question or whatever you're doing, just be okay with it. Because it's probably, well, it said automatically, right? If it did not say automatically, it could have been tenants in common and Bob died and willed it to her. But since it automatically went there, it can't be tenancy in common. And again, fee simple to feasible, it doesn't have the right of survivorship. That doesn't have the right of survivorship. But you know what does? Joint tenancy and tenancy by the entirety. Now again, I wouldn't have included both because since both come with the right of survivorship, which one is it? Well, it says they each own half, which makes me think of joint tenancy, like you have your undivided interest. Whereas tenancy by the entirety, each of you own, you're co-owners, you each own kind of together. I'm thinking that they meant to go with joint tenancy with the right of survivorship, but this could be right too, right? That I would never include this as an answer choice. I probably would have said community property. I don't think, no, I'm not in a state that practices community property, but I don't think you get the right of survivorship with community property. So I might have done something like that, or I might have said something like tenancy at will, or something like that, an estate at will. I would have filled in something else that was a vocab word, but there you go. Yep, and C is for a married couple. Now, Alice and Bob could be married. They could have been married, but the question didn't say that, so I can't assume it. So I'm going to go with B, joint tenancy, which is the right answer. Let me take a look and see what the computer said. What did do? I'm just taking a look. Let's see what they thought it was supposed to be. I'm looking. They said it should have been B. We're right. That's what they said. Said it should have been B. See, Dina, and there you go. You thought they were married. See, that it has to be more clear. The test questions have to be more clear. And the good news is when you're taking the actual exam, the questions have been vetted for clarity and making sure something like that can't happen. Tenants by the entirety is for, oops, that's not what I meant to do. Tenants by the entirety is for, sorry, let me scroll. Ooh. There it is. Tenancy by the entirety in some states, so not California where you have community property, but in some states, if you are married and then you get property, we'll make you tenants by the entirety, which has the right of survivorship. But if you get divorced, we got to break that right of survivorship because you have to be married to have it. And so, since our question did not say they were married, we can't assume it, which means B is our right answer. Whew. Right? So it is real, Christina. It is real. All right. Do we like this? Is this helping? I mean, I thought I'd try a shot in the dark with ChatGPT. You know, it's doing okay. I don't hate it so far. I think it's pretty good. It gives us a chance to talk about it. Right? And it just means if you all choose to use ChatGPT, then you just got to give, just take everything with a grain of salt. That's why some people pay for question services because they tend to be a little bit better questions. They're not 100% guaranteed all the time, but they tend to be better. All right. A homeowner owns the property but can't drink on it or it reverts. Which estate is it? Okay, I'm going to need ChatGPT to finish its thoughts. What type of estate is this? Let's go ahead and finish. What type of estate is this? Is it fee simple absolute, fee simple determinable, fee simple with the subject condition with the condition subject to a condition subsequent, or life estate? Now it is a type of defeasible estate. This is true. It is a type of defeasible estate. But guess what? This is a defeasible estate. And this is a defeasible estate. They're both types of defeasible estates. But which one is it? All right, I think we got a C and we got a B, but they're both defeasible. What is the difference between a determinable, a fee simple determinable, and a fee simple subject to a condition subsequent, which is a fee simple conditional? Rut-row. Scooby, what are we thinking? This is a great one. I will be so impressed. Can anybody tell me the difference between B and C? Determinable automatically reverts and conditional requires you to go to court. That is true, but the question doesn't tell us if it happened automatically or if they had to go to court. The question doesn't say anything. Dude. So some people are saying B, some people are saying C. Go ahead and defend your answer. Why do you think it's B? Why do you think it's C? But then I will give you why I think what the answer is what it is. And if you just don't know, if you're like, Candace, I don't know, C just sounded good, you know, you can always just put a I don't know or an E, or hey, you're the teacher, you tell us. Tell me what you know. Tell me something good. You changed it to C? Okay. Anybody? Anybody? All right, let me talk about it. So yes, determinable automatically reverts back, and fee simple with a condition subsequent, they have to go to court. And that's one way to tell the difference. But here's the other thing about this. Determinable, it's based on a time. So that they might use the words as long as, or during, or, you know, anything that has to do with time. Condition subsequent has to do with like an action or something you can't do. It's so picky. I don't know why they would even test you on this. But again, this is ChatGPT. So since this wasn't described in duration, I like to think determinable and duration. They both start with D. Since it's not, ownership is not based during a period of time, that makes it a fee simple conditional subsequent, or the condition subsequent. So yes, our answer is C. Good job, guys. Hey, so you got it right. You got that right. And Caroline said C, yeah, because it's conditioned. Boom, shakalaka laka boom. There you go. Getting it right. I love it. All right. Let's do number 6. Okay, y'all better get this one. Which deed offers the strongest protection to a buyer? Womp womp. I know y'all know this one. I know you know this one. Which deed offers the strongest protection to a buyer? Y'all better get this one right. Okay, I think that's like a gazillion billion, JJ. Yeah, general warranty deed. Yeah, okay, that one couldn't. Not good job, ChatGPT. We knew that one. I said medium difficulty. What? Now, are we all good with the other types of deeds? We all recognize these as Those are perfectly legitimate answers to another question. Not this question. They all are real and they all exist, but it ain't the answer to this question. Right. Is there an easy acronym to remember the 6 covenants? I don't know if it's easy. I do have one. Did I put it in here? I don't know. It's not my favorite acronym, so I might not have even included it in here. Let me see. Stud. Nope, that's elements of a mortgage, deed of trust, Fres, dash, diva, cap. Here, I did include it. The covenants in a general warranty deed. I don't even... What does that stand for? I don't even know what that... Y'all, I'm looking at this like, did I even put this into an acronym? That I'm like, this doesn't SR-SEC work for... What is... This gets a big fat what? I don't even know what that stands for. Sam really eats quietly when fixing chairs. I got nothing. With that one. I'm like, what? Now, I do have an acronym. Let me find it. Let me find it. I came up with an acronym. I have no clue to why I did not put it there. Give me a second to pull it up. It would be, we're talking about deeds. This would be, the covenants in a deed would be, give me a second. That's just terrible. I'm sorry, y'all. Like, that was just awful. That's not even a thing. Oh, that's right. Sell real estate quickly with full confidence. So it was sell real estate quickly with full confidence. I need to fix this. So sell real estate quickly with full confidence. I guess I just didn't write out what it stands for. I didn't do, like usually I put here, is, sell real estate quickly with full confidence. I mean, it kind of sucks. And by it kind of sucks, I mean, it really sucks. If somebody can come up with a better one, please let me know. I've had that one forever because, I mean, what are you going to do? Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you can come up with a good acronym better than this, okay, there you go. You all can email me. You all know my email address, right? It is CandiceEllis@gmail.com. Now, I'm not saying all of you all are going to come up with something good, but if somebody were to come up with a really good one and I could use it instead of this sell real estate quickly with full confidence, I would give you a free tutoring session, or if you've already passed your test, I would give you a free coaching session. It's that bad. This is such a terrible acronym. I would be willing to give up a tutoring session or a coaching session. And you can put them in any order. I don't care. Any order. You can use any of the words. It just needs to make sense. So free. So there you go. Can you screenshot the one with fee? The one with fee. I think, where was I on that one? Was it this? Was it the question? This one? That one? Is that what you're looking for? I think. I don't know. But there you go. So there, y'all, somebody wants a free coaching session or free tutoring session, come up with a better acronym. Because, woo, That was awful. All right, are we ready for the next one? Let's go. I don't actually think any of these are. Okay, well, I guess so. A parent signs a deed transferring a child's house with no warranties. Which deed, I'm going to say, could this be? But I feel like that would be a guardian's deed. I'm going to have to check on that. That might be a guardian's deed. Maybe. But that's not an option. So which one could it be of the options there? Which one could it be? Okay, Celso, you said C. JJ says B. Gwen says B. Dina says B. All right. What are we thinking? Now I'm really curious. Is it a guardian's deed? Shall we make a phone call? Let's make a phone call, guys. Let's call an attorney. He might not answer, or he might answer. He has no idea he's being recorded, but that's okay. He'll be fine. Let's see. You think it's a warranty deed? Okay, we'll see. We're calling an attorney. That's why Fri-YAY. Call your attorney. He didn't answer. Womp womp. Boo to the attorney not answering. I think that might be a guardian's deed, but that's not an answer option. So, okay. So let's talk about it. Nobody thought it was a general warranty deed because that's the strongest one. And can anybody tell me what a special warranty deed is? That's not the answer either. But what is a special warranty deed? What is a special warranty deed? Anybody? There you go, Dina. Yes, it only covers the current or the seller's ownership time. So if you get a general warranty deed, the seller's saying, I promise that there's no title problems. And if there is one, I'm going to clear it. I'm going to help you clear it, whether it's from my time of ownership or the person before me or the person before me or the person before that or the person before that or the person before that. If it's a special warranty deed, we're saying, hey, I'm only promising I didn't mess it up. That crazy person before me could have messed it up, and I can't help you with that. So then the question becomes, well, is it the bargain or sale deed or is it a quitclaim deed? And we know our answer is quitclaim deed. Why? Because it says no warranties. No warranties. Look at there. Look at that. Whoop, whoop. So it is quitclaim deed. Hey guys, so it's 4 o'clock. I got to go do my next thing. But do we like this? So the bargain and sale deed is similar to a quitclaim deed, but at least there was a sale. Like, it does have the promise that they can give it to you. So it's not that it has no warranties, it just has fewer warranties. And so guys, I just need to know, do we like this idea of me going over questions? Even though these weren't brand new, I could always do ChatGPT. So, no, you get lots of warranties on a grant deed. Grant deed I think has 1 or 2 warranties in there. So, yes, you like this? Okay. Well, do we want to do this more than once? Do we want to do this more than once a week? I don't know, guys. We'll think about it. Bring a friend. I want to get it to like we have 50 people here and it'll really be a party. Yeah. Anyway, guys, I gotta go. Oh, you don't see the 5-hour review before the exam link? JJ, I'll put it back in the chat for you. Let's see. Command V and boom. There it is right there. But you can You can also go to my YouTube page, which would be, let me pull it up. My YouTube page, which would be here. How do I get to it? There I am. Boop. And wait, nope. I gotta go around. Stop it. It's here so you can see what it looks like. Videos. And oh, look, you're on YouTube looking at YouTube. It's so surreal. Here it is. This thing. Oh, look, it's telling me I'm live. We're live on our live. Look at that, guys. We are live on our live. So it's the critical real estate exam vocab and topics of a long review. There you go. Let's include karaoke with lessons on Fri-YAY. Man, I mean, oh, it's not loading the links? Dude, it's not loading the links? That's rude. That is rude. Okay, so it's right there. You can see it. It's showing me the links, but it's not loading you the links. Okay, I know this. So you can just look me up for that. And then let's be really meta. Let's be really meta. Let's see. Let's go live. We're live watching a live. Meta. Look at that. I'm live watching live. I'm such a geek. Anyway, because it's crazy and I'm insane, I will see y'all next time. If you need me, you know how to reach me. I'll see you Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays for Prep Agent, Friday for Fri-YAY Lives, and I don't know, maybe we'll start doing this more if you all like it. So I gotta go, and I'll talk to y'all later. Oh, look at that. It's doing the weird thing. Let's get off that screen. Let's get off that screen. So guys, I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Oh, wait, look, now you can see me. So guys, I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Oh, wait, goodbye. Look, now you can see me. So guys, it is weird I can't type it in the chat. Bye, JJ. Bye.